Okay, we're back. Did you miss me terribly? Anyway, with that said, what we want to do is continue on with the rest of our list here. We got through the replace in the last video, and so let's go ahead and start with the insert and finish up on these final three, okay? And so the insert over here, once again, let's go back and look at this one more time. As you see, the insert has a substring and a start index. So once again, it's going to ask us, I'm sorry, a start index, I'm pointing to the wrong one. I gotta get my glasses fixed, I think. So the start index and then the value. And so if you look how I did here, I have Elvis Presley, and I'm going to insert the king with a space starting in the sixth index. So 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right at the sixth index where the P is, I'm going to insert the king with a space and push out Presley. And that's what this is going to be doing right here. Okay? You're going to use this most of the time when you're doing some formatting. Again, the output piece of this, when we talked about this before with the string input and output, more than likely you're going to do inserts just for output purposes, okay? Maybe what we'll do is walk through this and kind of talk about which ones you're going to be using based upon if it's for input or for output. So we'll put Elvis Presley there, and boom, Elvis the King Presley. I don't know if I can do an impersonation of him or not. Hello, hello, Elvis Presley. Okay, I can't. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. So that's how that works. Why would you be doing here? So remember how I kind of told you before, sometimes we would store Social Security numbers without the dashes? Well, we would want to see the dashes when we present it back onto our GUI or reports. So we would probably use an insert to insert the dashes back in. Once again, there's no magic bullet here where one insert is going to take care of putting both dashes in there. You would have to write two separate insert commands to actually make that work. Okay? And it's a little fun. I'll actually show you in this case. So let's just say I'm going to put a Social Security number in there, and I want to do that. So I'm going to put a Social Security number in my string. I'm going to go ahead and do this right here. And what we'll end up doing is, let's go ahead and put LBL result in here, .text, okay? And I'm going to make it equal to string1, okay? string, there it is. Maybe, there we go. And dot insert, okay? So what I'm going to do in this case here, I'm going to have a Social Security number, 405, I'm going to give you mine. Okay, I'm not that stupid. That's not my Social Security number, okay? So don't go off and try to, I don't know. You're not going to get much, I swear. Okay, so you're not. So let's go in here. We're going to insert the first dash. So we want to insert a dash right here. So 0, 1, 2, and then that third index, right, is where we want to stick the dash. It would be 3, comma, dash like this. See that right there? Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, and so I would put 405.06.9999, and you will see a dash in there now. Pretty cool. But I want another dash, right? I need that other dash. Well, here's where it gets a little bit fun and tricky. We got to do it again. Okay, we literally have to do this again. I can actually copy this. I'll just overlay it. And so what I'm going to do here, though, is I'm going to change this around a little bit. I'm going to put my substring there. So my first dash is I'm going to replace my string with the string without dashes with the first dash in there. Then I need to go ahead and put the second dash in there. But we got to be smart, okay? Because if I sit back and say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the fifth position here, let's go ahead and just do that for sake of fun, tricks and fun. Let's see what actually happens there. Okay, so 400.05.9999, and we hit click. You see the dash is in the wrong spot. Why did that happen? Well, because our new string now has another character in it, and we got to take that into consideration on the second insert in this case. So literally what we're going to have after the first time is this right here. So I want to put the dash in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the sixth position, not the fifth. Does that make sense? So yeah, these, like I said, is there's sometimes students want to find this little magic bullet to be able to insert two things at one time or find multiple things at one time. These things don't work that way. Most of the things do one thing at a time. So if you need two things found or two things inserted, you got to do it one at a time. Okay. Now we have this. You'll see that this will now work very nicely. 400.06. 9999, and boom, now we're formatted. Pretty slick. All right, cool. All right, quite a bit of stuff we've taken care of. Index of. Once again, what I told you with index of is something I use quite a bit to find something in a string, okay? It's for all kinds of different purposes. I could use it for validation purposes, is which I'm going to do here, or I can actually use it maybe to find different characters in which I want to break up things or I want to manipulate. And I might show you a little bit of that in the next video when we start combining these together to try to actually solve a problem. So kind of keep that in mind. But what index of actually does, it returns the actual index if it's found, all right? And so let's go ahead and play with this a little bit on this one. And whoops, I hit the wrong one. And so what this is going to do is we're going to take this string, we're going to actually put in an email address. And we're going to use it for validation purposes to ensure that it's a valid email address. We're not going to go crazy to find out if it actually truly is, but as long as it has the @ sign in there, we're going to feel pretty good about it. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to take that substring and try to find the @ sign. If it does, it will return, okay, it will return the actual location of it. As you see here, it's not going to. So what it's really doing now, we're building this into a conditional structure. I'll show you a different approach to this in the next video. In this particular structure, it's going to just sit back and say, I want you to return the actual location of it as long as it's not -1. If it's equal to -1, it's a bad email address. If it's not equal to that, it's a good email address. Because if it returns -1, that means it didn't find it. Okay? If it returns anything else, 0 or above, that means it did find it, and then that's the location in which it did. Does that make sense? Okay? And so if I show you this one, the good old John Doe or Ondo or whatever. So we're not actually seeing the results of this one. Okay, I can actually show that to you here in a second, but boom, it's a good email address. Okay, so it basically went and found it, and what it returned here was not a -1. Okay, if you're sitting there dying to know what it actually returned, I could very easily do this and manipulate this a little bit and make this equal to this substring right here. Take this off and comment this out. Let's see, there you go. So I can get it to work. And so what this is going to do is actually bring back the actual location of the @ sign, the index, okay? Make sure we understand that, the index. So let's go ahead and run that. Oh, oops, I have the wrong thing. Let's see, I'll just go ahead and put mine in there. Oh God, now you're all going to be emailing me. And you can see it's index 7. So let's look at this. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's an index 7, okay? Everybody see that? That's what it returned. Now you might be saying, do I care what index it returns? Yeah, you kind of do in some cases. Based upon what you're doing, you're going to care quite a bit. You may use that. And again, in the next video, I will kind of show you a little bit more complicated example or problem in which we need to combine some of these things to actually make something happen. And of course, you know in your assignments this week, we're not going to make it easy. We want you to think it through. So you'll probably want to know where that index is, okay, in your assignments too. Okay? That's index of. Very, very good. Let's see. And I'll put those back. I think I have another example. Actually, there I am. Here I am getting ahead of myself. I actually had the code there. Well, silly me. Okay, finally substring. I use substring quite a bit. This is that situation, as I mentioned before, if I want to take a part of it out and actually do something with it, the whole VIN number piece. Here's how I would actually do this. Okay, and so let's play with this for a second. So I use substring quite a bit. And so in this case here, I have Elvis Presley. And what this is going to do, starting in 0, it's going to return Elvis. It's going to take this out, 0 for 5 characters. So let's kind of look at this right here. Okay, and boom, and I do this, and there's Elvis. Yay, so I brought it out. Let's get back to a more business scenario here and talk about, if I actually have some type of serial number and somewhere in there it actually means something, and like that VIN number type thing. I think that's 18 characters long. So let's say we have that 18 character thing, and I need to pull out characters, and I need to do that starting at a certain location, okay? And so that location, after we analyze it, is in the 10th index. So I can say the 10th index, pull off 1 character because I want to do something with it, okay? And maybe what I want to do with it is, if, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and make this string, we'll make this string 2, STR, STING 2, there you go. Whoops, man. All right, typing and recording, the pressure is huge, people. It's huge. You just don't realize I'm sitting here shaking and stressing and sweating as I try to do these things for you. Not really, but if you think I am, good for you. Okay, so I'm going to put a string in here. I'm going to put something in here. I'm going to put some type of, we'll call it a serial number type of thing, with quite a few letters and things like this, a string that maybe a business would actually use. Okay, let's see. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There it is right there. 8, 8, and maybe this is some type of part number or something that they use, okay, some wild thing. But this 10th position means something. Maybe it's where the part was manufactured at. And so we can sit back and say, if str string 2 equals B, then manufactured, let's see, I gotta put this right there, so all these red lines, then message box dot show, let's see. So manufactured, I'm not going to spell that. Manufactured in Boston. Okay. Else manufactured somewhere else. I don't know. And so that might be something we, it is going to be a big part of our program. I'm oversimplifying this, okay? But I hope you get the idea. I can pull this thing out. So I might sit back and, my boss might come to me and say, hey, can you write me a program that takes in every one of our part numbers in our corporation, and we have 1 million part numbers. I want to know all the parts that are manufactured in Boston. And so maybe I can add them all up or do this or do that or whatever it is. But for the most part, this is what this would be doing. So I would take a part number such as this and put this in here, and let's watch this work. You can see I can pull that substring out, and I do this, and you see manufactured in Boston because it found B in that location. Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever saw in your life? Okay, if I change this B to an N, okay, and do it again, it was manufactured somewhere else. You get the idea? This allowed us to actually get into the inputs, break it down, and then actually look at certain pieces of it and do something with it. And that's the whole idea of substring. Okay? All right, so let's finish this up a little bit so you kind of got the ideas of what we're doing here, and kind of look at this one more time as I finish this up, okay? And sit back and say, length, would you use that for input or output? More than likely it's input. Trim would be more input. Trim could be, it could be a little bit of output, but most of the time it's used for input. Remove. I'm usually probably doing something like that for output, or I maybe a little bit for input, might be more output. Replace, probably more for output. Insert, definitely for output. Index of and substring, definitely for input. So these are some of the methods you would use based upon what you're doing to the string. I hope that makes sense, okay? And like I said, so in the next video, what we're going to do is look at these things a little bit more differently, because once again, there is no magic bullet here where one thing will do everything you need to do. So I want to give you a couple scenarios, and let's kind of write together how we would approach this. Okay? So I'll see you in the next video.